Yo, 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 ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Episode 2, round 2 of The Hop. I'm your co-host, Gabriel.
I'm Steven. Welcome back.
Thank you all so much for joining us. We are back again. We got another great couple beers for you, all coming from, Steven, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking Sierra Nevada Brewing Brewery. One of the big breweries, one of the biggest craft breweries in America. This is going to be a good one, guys. We got a lot to unpack today. We're going to sample several beers, and we're going to talk through some news and notes as always. Hey, Gabe.
Hey, Steven.
Let's grab a drink. All right, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back for round 2 of the HOP. Once we drop a few of these episodes, we're going to be hitting round, have you ever stayed in a bar long enough to get, round 6?
Oh,
7?
Yeah.
Round
You close out the
25?
bar, of course.
We're going to be closing out the bar here on the podcast. What's up, Gabe? How's it going?
Oh, living and loving, I'm over here in good old New York City, freezing my ass off, but, you do what you can.
If it helps, I was in Lake Arrowhead this past weekend, and it was freezing there, too. It was a balmy 40 degrees, which...
I hate you.
For those of us...
about you.
Dude, there was snow.
I still hate you.
In California. I drove 90 minutes outside of LA, which, and I thought I didn't bring a good coat. I kind of was it's California. How cold could it be? and then everyone wanted to go for a hike, and I was out at the lake just freezing my ass off.
Still with a beer in his hand, I bet.
Still always with a beer in my hand. That's how we stayed warm.
That's awesome.
I also was turning on a gas fire, and I almost blew my face off. So I'm feeling excited to be here this fine afternoon.
Feeling excited to be in house, safe under a roof.
I'm just excited. I'm just happy I'm alive. Really.
Aren't we all though?
I had a near-death experience. I saw the depths of hell burst from this this gas fireplace.
I'm surprised you didn't burn your eyebrows off.
It doesn't, dude. After it happened, legitimately, the guy I was with was like, "Are you okay?" And my first thought was, "Do I still have my eyebrows?
Do I still have?" Wow, that's...
I went and looked in a mirror to make sure they weren't singed. It was horrifying. It shot out of a burst of flame shot out of the gas fireplace.
What did you throw in it? Gasoline? What'd you do?
I didn't throw anything in it. I just had the gas turned up way too high when I was lighting it.
Unbelievable. You need to learn
how to
go camping.
It was terrifying. Because I thought it was going to be one of those fireplaces. I'm used to lighting a fire with kindling and paper, and you have to sit there for 2 hours to get it to light.
Nah, you just pour a bunch of gasoline, throw a match, and run.
Guys, let's dive into the news and notes. Some updates for you from around the beer world, as we do. And this first one is exciting because it's the season for Brewfest, guys. I mean, really, it's always the season for Brewfest.
I can drink a beer any time of day, any season. So
you can go to a beer festival almost anywhere right now. We're seeing them crop up all over the place. Cincinnati, we mentioned Cleveland last week. We got Vegas. They're everywhere. Check around and find a Brewfest near you and hit them up. But the one we're going to feature today is the Vermont Brewers Festival at Bear Mountain, Killington.
Shout out to Vermont.
It's on March 21st. So Gabe and I actually went to the Vermont Brewers Festival in the summer. They do one in the summer and the winter.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
We went in the summer to Burlington, Vermont. We got good and loose.
Good and loose. That fucking pulled pork sandwich too. Ooh.
Oh yeah. You're always gonna find good food to go along with the good beer. But Vermont, listen, guys. Vermont is, in my humble opinion, one of the best craft beer states in the country. There's just so much good there. And on March 21st, you can go to Mount Killington, a beautiful ski lodge, and drink a bunch of beer. It's on March 21st. Tickets are currently on sale. They have 2 different sessions, one from 12 to 3 and one from 4 to 7. You can choose from various pouring sizes, and you can get tickets starting at $45, going on up depending on what kind of ticket you purchase. You can also purchase a lift ticket, lift meaning the ski lift for those that do that.
Can you drink on the ski lift?
You know what? Weirdly, there's nothing on the website that says like, "Hey, you're not allowed to ski drunk." Like, they're not. Ain't nobody stopping you. And some of the featured brewers that are confirmed to be there: First Republic, 14th Star, Collaborative Brewing, Burlington Beer Company, Frost Beer Works, excellent. Hermit Thrush, if you're a sours person, that's a place to go. Lawson's Finest Liquids,
Hermit
beautiful
Thrush.
Hermit.
I love
Hermit Thrush.
I love that name.
I love Hermit Thrush, and they're like all sours. The Alchemist, if you're a heady topper person, they're going to be there for you.
Nice.
Zero Gravity, guys. And then if you're interested, you can take a look at the VermontBrewers.com website and take a look at some of the featured beers that were available at the 2019 festival. But you're always going to find beers that you can't find anywhere else. They also have home brewers there, giving you some small batch stuff that you can't purchase anywhere else. So if you find yourself in Vermont, if you're able to get to Vermont around March, that is going to be an awesome time. Check it out.
Love me some Vermont. I'm sure it's cold as hell up there right now, but who cares? I got good beer.
Well, it's a ski lodge, so I would hope
they have some snow.
if it's not cold, then nobody's having fun.
We got a problem here. Dogfish Head. Famous Dogfish Head. You guys all know them. You love them. They have great beers. Well, get ready. They're set to release 160 beers in 2020. That's a lot of beers. Dogfish Head opened 25 years ago, and they pride themselves on creating innovative, well-differentiated beers and spirits. They're doubling down on its offbeat approach to liquid artistry, with plans to release more than 160 unique products. I know some of those favorites include the numbered beers, as I like to call them, 60-minute, 90-minute, 120, those hard-ass heavy beers that are just so good and so delicious.
With the 180, why don't you?
Oh, yeah, that would
I
be...
can take it.
I mean, I couldn't.
Let me get a 240.
You gonna chug a 240? You gotta take 2 sips and be fucking hammered.
I'm going up the multiples of 6.
Math.
What's next?
Highlights
Let me get that 300.
Highlights for the new beers include the American Beauty Hazy... Oh, hold on. Let's try that one more time. American Beauty Hazy Ripple IPA. A new collaboration with the Grateful Dead. Palo Santo Maran, an unfiltered brown ale aged on Palo Santo wood, clocking in at 12%. Wow. And we got the Campfire Amplifier, new s'mores-centric milk stout. Ooh, for those of you who like those darker beers, milk stouts are always definitely a way to go.
That's ridiculous. A s'mores-centric milk stout. And can we just give some love to the name, too? Campfire Amplifier.
Campfire
Amplifier. Okay, Dogfish.
I want that on like a t-shirt.
Campfire Amplifier. Dogfish Head.
Dogfish Head, look out for their new brews. They got a nice bunch of them coming out. Dogfish Head, I love Dogfish Head. They have some great beers coming out. Look out for those.
And check out their website if you want a complete list. I don't know if I think you said that, Gabe, but dogfish.com. Check out their website. You can see all these beers that are about to come out.
I did not say that, so thank you.
Oh, well, that's what I'm here for.
Cheerio.
Where would you be without me?
Probably dead.
You'd be hosting a show by yourself is where you'd be.
Yeah, and it'd be a lot better. Oh,
shit. Excuse me while I see myself out.
All right, bye. Thank God he's gone. It's just us now. I'm kidding. Talk. Go. All right, he's upset, so I'm going to take over his.
Say you're sorry.
I'm sorry that you're not. I don't know where I'm going with this.
He needs me. Okay, guys, moving on. A co-founder of Lost Abbey Brewing has announced plans to launch a new line of canned sour beers called Tiny Bubbles. This is scheduled to launch in 2020. What? That's the brand name.
It's such a fun Tiny Bubbles.
Tiny Bubbles. Canned sours.
Hey, can you pass me one of those Tiny Bubbles? I'm sorry.
They're going to be available in 4-packs of slim 12-ounce cans, and there's going to be 2 flavors, Brut and Rosé. The man's name is either Tom or Tommy Arthur. Sir, I don't know how to say your name. I apologize. But Mr. Arthur is a co-founder of Lost Abbey Brewing, like we said. And his goal is to target drinkers currently out of reach of his other brands by bringing to life a living Goza-style beer finished with Brettanomyces, while having fun promoting their new friend, Brutus. And their new friend, Brutus, is the brand's mascot, Brutus T. Bubbles. And I encourage you to take a look at the Tiny Bubbles mascot, because he's adorable.
He is adorable, and this guy, this guy Arthur, Mr. Arthur, just looks so happy
about Tiny Bubbles.
About Tiny Bubbles. Look at this guy.
It's just like this little egg with throwing up like
the rock and roll sign.
The rock and roll sign, but like his face is expressionless, so it's just like a yeah.
He's just like yeah, we're here.
Just like, yes, that's Tiny Bubbles.
Tiny Bubbles. Incidentally, Mr. Arthur, because that's what we're calling him now, announced
can't say his name.
Speech cautioning Tomas, Game of Thrones.
Tommy.
He announced all this in a speech cautioning a lull he sees in the growth of the beer industry. He's trying to make it very different, go back to, including everyone and getting, like what Steven said, having his, all of his, brews being able to be accessed by everyone and anyone. So.
Yeah, but also he was talking about, in that speech, he talked about, consumer education and the importance of it. He was kind of warning that today's new generation of legal drinkers coming up, is not quite as interested in learning about brewing, the process of brewing, learning about brand history. So he was kind of talking about the importance of educating yourself on beer, which I think is really apropos to what we're doing here on the show. And in addition to that, he cautioned brewers and consumers not to judge or look down on brewers that sell their companies or sell to one of the larger beer companies or something like that, either out of necessity or a desire to shift focus. Again, that's kind of a big tenet with us here at the HOP is, inclusion and not trying to be snarky or snobbish about beer and who owns the beer, just really trying to drink beer and love it for what it is.
Everybody's just trying to get drunk nowadays. Everyone's in that college phase of like, does it have alcohol in it? Great. Hand me one and let's pound. It's like, what are we drinking? Who cares?
Take some time to appreciate what you're drinking and find some love for the artistry of it, And to that end, Gabe,
I propose
I'm
a
thirsty.
toast.
Hit us with a toast. Wait, let's get the.
I do believe a toast is afoot.
We got some smooth jazz music for the toast today.
Yeah, I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna need it for this one. You gonna like this one?
Lay it on me.
Boom. Boom. All right. Of all my favorite things to do, the utmost is to have a brew. My love grows from my foamy friend, with each thirst-quenching elbow bend. Beer is so frothy, smooth, and cold. It's paradise, pure liquid gold. Yes, beer means many things to me. That's all for now. I gotta pee. Cheers, motherfucker.
Cheers. That was delightful.
I told you you'd like it.
Fucking Dr. Seuss over here.
Yeah, had to hit him with a smooth jazz on that one.
I almost wanted to play throughout the whole episode.
Might as well. I think that's what the people want.
I think we'd lose all our listeners.
I don't know. It's just jazz. Like, they don't even talk. They talked about the beer for like 5 minutes and then they just threw jazz on.
There's no beer. It's just a jazz Pandora station.
I mean, also, yes, that could work.
Sierra Nevada celebration.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're here. Sierra Nevada celebration. This is a IPA. It is a fresh hop IPA, as they refer to it. We got an alcohol by volume and ABV coming in at 6.8%. We have an SRM, so the beer color, I would clock it at around maybe like a 18, I would say. 18, 19, thereabouts. So it's like a copper color, kind of a copper chestnut amber.
Very, very amber colored, that darkish orangey color. If you hold it in front of like a light, it makes it brighter. Like it's just looks like looks like a sunset almost.
It's a really pretty color. It's definitely not very hazy at all. And we're both drinking it out of glasses, poured from a bottle.
Because we classy.
I had a nice little off-white kind of eggshell head on the top that dissipated pretty quickly, and I'm going in for a sip after I smell it.
He's got to smell it.
That's good. That's it's nice and it's nice and drinkable. I'm a fan.
Oh, it's so good. And like, I don't know if it's the title, but I immediately the title and the graphic on the bottle, but I immediately think Christmas. Like, do you honestly think holidays, or do you think like it's another solid IPA that I could drink at the holidays?
So I love this beer because I love it because this beer is a holiday seasonal. They release it for the holiday season, but it's an IPA. You know, typically holiday seasonal beers and seasonal offerings are often spicy and aromatic. This is the time of year we see a lot of gingers, a lot of
right,
kind of really like spice beers. I mean, spice beer is a category in and of itself, but we see a lot of kind of more aggressive things going on. This is just an IPA, the same that we drink kind of all year round, but they brew it with the freshest hops of the growing season, kind of the first hops that mature, and they're making a real American IPA out of it. So it's classic, it's piney.
It's definitely a beer that you can have this with a meal. You could be eating a nice Christmas dinner. If you're Italian like me, the Seven Fishes. We don't necessarily do the Seven Fishes, but we got some lobster tail. We have like a nice roast. We go all out. Anyway,
a fish or two.
That's what happens at the Apria house. But anyway, this is definitely like, if I had one of these like to sip on all night, I would be the happiest person in the world. I mean, it's definitely, like you said, got those notes. Definitely, you wrote it down. Definitely got that caramel vibe almost to it.
So when you smell it, kind of the first thing you get is like pine.
Yep.
But
absolutely.
as you would with an IPA, but malts. You do get some spiciness. You get some kind of some herbs and some pepper or some grapefruit. But it doesn't hit citrus.
You over the head too hard.
That's where the malt comes in, right? I mean, it's got a sweetness to it. It's malty. It's not a hop blast. It is definitely hopped, but it's balanced. It's really well balanced. So in the taste, you get hit with the pine and the citrus initially, and then it's kind of got a sweeter side to it, maybe a little bit of banana.
Very easy going down.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very easy going down. It's got that refreshing feel to it, and it's this may sound weird, but it's I can take a big gulp. Like normally with IPAs, you drink, eventually your mouth's gonna start like burning. You gotta swallow the beer, but this one, it's like we might be able to chug this a little bit. Not that we're not condoning that or anything, but still, I mean, you can go after this one.
This is like, it just doesn't blast your taste buds with the hops. They're there. Right. But that's why I think it's just a easy drinking, kind of more mild IPA. You're not going to be a fan of this if you're not a fan of IPAs. I'll say that. I mean, if you're someone who's like, I don't usually like IPAs, well, this isn't the one that's probably going to hook you in. It's a pretty classic IPA, but It's not aggressive if you're someone who doesn't like aggressive bitterness. Speaking of which, it does have an IBU of 65. So I don't think we've addressed this on the show yet. But IBUs are, it's the International Bitterness Unit. So it's kind of a scale that was invented that we've been using for pretty much since the beginning of the 20th century to determine how bitter a beer is and kind of have a common language about it.
Science.
Yeah, so the more IBUs that a beer has, the more bitter the beer is. Now, the scale of the IBUs kind of is infinite. It can go as high as like 1,000, but like you're never going to taste that in a beer. With beer, you're probably working between like 5 to crazy hoppy beer would be like 120, but most beers are probably falling between like 15 to 80. So your IPAs are going to be more on the side of the between the 60 and 80 if it gets
They're a lot
like double
stronger.
IPA. Yeah, it doesn't always correlate to like alcohol by volume, but it's bitterness. Although you will see that a lot. Like you'll see like a beer is 7.0% ABV and 70 IBUs. You know, that's like a classic IPA. And then your amber ales are sitting at like 20 or less than that.
I love amber ales. I think that's why I like this beer so much, because it's kind of got the similarities of an amber ale.
Yeah, I think you mean like the malt and the sweetness and that stuff.
Yeah, it's so good. It's just honestly, you could just, as long as there's snow outside and it's cold or whatever, you can drink this. Beer Advocate gave it a 93. Oh, this was the second beer ever released by Sierra Nevada, first introduced in 1981. This beer is older, not old.
Yeah,
we don't discriminate. We're not ageists.
I wanted to talk about that because I think that it's important to. I don't think when you think of Sierra Nevada, you're immediately going to think of their pale ale, maybe their Torpedo Extra, some of the brews that you can find all year round. But the first Sierra Nevada, and I think this is probably a perfect segue into this, but Sierra Nevada has been around for quite a while. They were founded in, I think, 1979. They started releasing beers in 1980. The first beer that they brewed was a stout, but they didn't distribute that. The first beer that they actually sold was their pale ale. The second beer that they ever sold was this Celebration IPA that we're drinking right now. So it's been around and it's been a staple of this company pretty much since their inception, and now they release it annually in the winter.
This is a huge brewery.
A huge brewery. So, I mean, let's get into it and kind of profile them a little bit.
Absolutely. Started by Ken Grossman. He started Sierra Nevada with a hand-built brew house. Steven, if you had said to me, Gabe, here's some wood, here's a hammer, and here's some nails, make me the jankiest birdhouse you could ever make.
Birdhouse?
I'd probably... What?
Birdhouse?
Yeah. If you had said... It'll all make sense. If you said to me, make me a birdhouse, I probably wouldn't be able to do that. And this guy built a brewery by his hand.
With his hands?
I'm impressed.
Have you ever seen that commercial for the brewmaster's hands?
I don't think so.
It's like one of my favorite and most awkward commercials I've ever seen. It's for a beer in... Is it for Foster's? It's for like a British beer. And they have this commercial that they...
Foster's is Australian.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's for... I don't know what the fucking beer is, Gabe.
Get your countries in order.
Get your shit together, Carol. So the point is they have this this commercial where they keep focusing on the brewmaster's hands. And they're like, these are the hands that picked the hops. And these are the hands that like filtered the malt. And they keep focusing on the hands. And then at the end... I am not making this up. Like YouTube Brewmaster Hands commercial. At the end it goes, why do we focus for so much on our Brewmaster's hands? Because she's not a very attractive woman.
Yo, what?
I'm not kidding.
No,
we don't
you
condone
can't do
this.
that.
We don't support it. I'm just telling you it exists.
What the hell? Oh my god, what a shot. Do they show her face on camera?
Wait, maybe. It might cut to a wide shot of like an older lady.
Yo, that's kind of messed up.
It might not. It's hilarious. Like, go YouTube it right now. Not you, Gabe, because we're busy, but everyone else, pause this, go do that. Gabe, you can
Because
do
she's
it after the
not
show.
an attractive woman.
I am
Yo.
not making it up.
I hope she gets royalties from that commercial. I hope they're paying her overtime.
You know what? It was Newcastle. It was Newcastle Brown Ale. That's who did it. Newcastle was the company.
Oh my god, that's wow. Shots. Officer, I'd like to report shots have been fired.
So what you're saying is this guy's hands built a brew house.
Do we want to see this guy's hands? Is he ugly? Like, what's the deal?
Ken Grossman.
Kenny boy.
Our boy Ken. Sierra Nevada is one of the oldest craft breweries in the United States. I think a lot of people wouldn't think of them as a craft brewery necessarily because they are so big, but they are, as they put it on their website, 100% independently owned, operated. I think they said family owned, operated, and fought over or something like that.
Yeah, man. The kids are fighting over who's gonna run the ship when dad's out.
So it's just a big company. They are, as of 2016, they were the 7th largest brewery in the United States. They are consistently one of the top 5 independently owned craft breweries. But they continue to be independent despite their size. They are not owned by any kind of large corporate company. They're not under the Miller or the ABI family or anything like that. They are completely independent.
Right, which is awesome.
Yeah, and it kind of raises the question, what is craft beer? I mean, this is something that, I think it's a term that we throw around a lot, but I don't think that it's really, a lot of people may not know what it means.
Like when you do a craft, like arts and crafts, you have glitter.
Like you go to Joanne Fabrics or like Michael's.
Right, and you get the poster board and you make a little poster and then you have a beer with it. That's normally what it is, right?
Yeah. It's when you take a 6-pack of beer to Joanne Fabrics and then
you're welcome, America.
and then you party in the aisles and the employees ask you to leave. Craft beer.
Aisle 4. That's where it's at. Meet me in aisle 4, Joanne Fabrics.
Seriously though, I think that the term craft beer kind of gets used interchangeably with microbrewery. The term microbrewery was originally used in relation to the size of breweries, meaning it basically meant the brewery was small. But over time, it's come to reflect a attitude, a mindset, an approach to brewing, flexibility, adaptability. Sierra Nevada, on their website, if you start to look at any of their beers, they'll tell you the science behind the beer. They'll tell you how it's brewed, but they always have this tagline on there: brewing is as much art as science, and all beer specifications and raw materials are subject to change at our brewer's creative discretion.
I'm gonna stop you real quick because there is something that you need to see. I don't know if you're aware of this. I don't know if you knew about this. I don't know.
I've seen Baby Yoda. Oh, what?
No, well, him, but also Steven.
Yeah.
And I'll get into this for the listeners, but Steven, they have a Narwhal Imperial Stout.
Oh.
And yes, there is a Narwhal whale.
Oh, I know.
On the bottle.
Oh yeah, narwhals are the weirdest of all whales. Because
Steven's obsessed with whales and blackfish. Don't even mention the word blackfish around him because he could talk about that movie for.
Okay, here's the thing, America.
Years. No,
here's the thing to all the craft brew people of the look. You brought this up. You brought it on yourself. We're in it now, fam. The movie Blackfish.
Oh my god.
The movie Blackfish has a message, and it's important, and I'm not here to take a side either way. But what I am here to tell you is that if you haven't seen the movie, regardless of how sad it is, about 30 minutes through the movie, you can see a bunch of SeaWorld trainers jerking off a whale. And if you haven't seen that, you should see it. That's all I'm saying.
Why?
That there's footage, and if you go look at the video, there's the whale.
Yeah, that whale is chilling. He's sitting there like, oh, thank God, I needed this.
The whale is back floating. He's just out at the beach, right? And he has his dick, which, if you've never seen a whale penis, I don't mean to be graphic about it, but it's very long and very pink. And it's basically draped over this trainer's shoulders like a fire hose, okay? It's coming out of the water. She's standing fully up. They don't have to bend over or anything because that's how big it is. And it's like draped over her shoulders as if it's a shawl that she's wearing in the dead of winter. And then another trainer is just stroking the end. And then there's a third trainer with a bucket, and he's primed like as if he's about to catch like a baby, I guess, or someone throwing something. He's holding the bucket, and then this whale just shoots its happy joy, and then they use it to make other sad whales. But the point is, my description isn't going to do it justice. You should look it up for yourself.
Yeah, so a microbrewery was originally used in relation to the size of the breweries, gradually came to reflect an alternative attitude and approach to brewing flexibility. No, don't mind me. I'm just trying to get us back on topic as opposed to all the whale penis references.
You brought it up. I can't let it go.
I saw Norwal and I thought of you, and you're welcome.
You brought it up. All right, let's talk about...
You went into detail.
Let's talk about microbreweries. Guys, my point is...
Let's do it.
My point is simply that a microbrewery is a small brewery. It's generally defined as a brewery that produces less than 15,000 U.S. barrels of beer annually. The term craft brewery and craft beer is much broader and it's kind of up to the consumer to define what that is for themselves. There is the Brewers Association of America, and they define craft beer as a brewery that is, quote, small, independent, and traditional. These definitions have been argued over. The word traditional specifically, because it originally meant like the types of ingredients that were put in the beer, and then they had to expand that. But there's basically 4 categories that they define as craft breweries. There are microbreweries, as we mentioned, which are small. There are brew pubs, which sell 25% or more of their beer on site. There are regional craft breweries, which I would consider to be the majority of craft breweries that we're talking about, including Sierra Nevada, and these make between 15,000 and 6 million barrels of beer a year. Sierra Nevada does about 1 million. And then there are contract brewing companies. These are companies that hire other breweries to make their beer. So,
shout out Two Roads, Stratford, Connecticut.
Like Two Roads in Connecticut. So
they brew other people's beer because they're so massive and so good.
Because they're badass. But it's that second category of regional craft beers between 15,000 and 6 million beer barrels annually. That is what allows and kind of makes way for the Sierra Nevadas of the world, the Sam Adams of the world, the Yinglings of the world. These breweries are still craft breweries, and they are still independently owned and operated. Sierra Nevada specifically, another thing that's important to note on this point is that they, as we mentioned, were founded in the 1980s. That's kind of right when the craft beer boom started in America. So they were there along with Anchor Steam and some other breweries that don't exist anymore. But Sierra Nevada and Anchor Steam really are the 2 breweries that were there at the beginning on the forefront, redefining what beer is in America and leading the way for the craft beer boom that we went through and that, we're reaping the benefits of today.
Now, the next point we're going to talk about is with the sustainability of the Sierra Nevada facility, so to speak. Before we say anything, let me just say, if you go to the website, sierranevada.com, they have an interactive website so you can learn about the sustainability factor they are creating. They've got things like solar-powered breweries, biodiesel processor, things like that, and we'll go into more details in a second, but you can literally go to the website and get an interactive, you could click on it and you will learn about so much, and I think it's the coolest thing because they're doing things that other breweries are not doing. They're really being different. They're really going green in a way, and it's like you wouldn't see that with beer so much, going green.
Big time. It's a huge part of their operation. They really take sustainability very seriously, and like Gabe said, at all their facilities, they have 2 breweries, 2 full-service breweries, and a tap room, and at all their facilities, they have so many. I mean, there are things that you see, such as solar panels and and things like that. They are completely solar powered. So there's things like that are kind of obvious. And then there are things you don't see. They are a LEED Platinum certified building. Their facility in North Carolina specifically is the one that is certified LEED Platinum. LEED stands for Leader in Environmental Energy and Design, and it's LEED. It's a certification that's given to buildings based on how sustainable they are. Literally, they're looking at things like, okay, let's put a lot of windows on the brewery, because if there's a lot of windows, it lets in a lot of natural light. We don't need to turn lights on. That reduces our energy costs. Things like that. And then
look at this website. You can literally click on anything. Click here. Look at this. For the Chico site, click for more information about heat recovery and energy efficiency. Click here for more information about CO2 recovery. I mean, if I may be so bold, we've got a brewery that's saving the planet.
They have they even bought a section of railroad. They own like a part of the railroad so that they can do their deliveries that way, because rail travel is more fuel efficient than traveling trucks.
That's some monopoly shit right there.
Solar powered. They have a section of their brewery that has a Tesla battery system. So that, like, I read it like 6 times and I still don't really understand what it does. But this Tesla battery system is supposed to help make them more energy efficient throughout the brewery.
I love this right here. They use a small biodiesel processor to convert the used cooking oil from its restaurant for biodiesel use in its delivery trucks. I mean, that's pretty efficient. Like, that's some next level.
Yeah, they're big on reusing and recycling.
Right,
they also, a lot of breweries do this, but they discard the discarded yeast gets converted to ethanol fuel by a company in town in Chico, California, where they are located. There's used grain is sent to cattle raisers to feed the cattle. Their used water is reused to water the fields. So it's sort of this idea that, like, they don't just throw things away. They find a purpose for everything, and they reuse and reuse.
And it just makes it so much more worth it because, like we said in the beginning, with Mr. I already forgot his name. Mr. Anderson?
Mr. Tommy.
Wow, we're really good at this. Mr. Tommy Boy.
I think you were close. No, it was Tom Arthur. Or Tom or Tommy Arthur.
I was in Tommy Arthur. That was close.
How do we say this guy's name? Tom.
Tommy Arthur talked about, people today nowadays, they don't know what they're drinking. And, when you've got a company like Sierra Nevada who's going so green and also producing some of the best beer, this is when the information is kind of vital, I would say, at this point.
They won the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency's Green Business of the Year award in 2010.
Shout out.
So sustainability is big with them. And the other thing,
did they get a trophy?
I think obviously they give trophies for Green Business of the Year. I think it's probably
got like a plaque.
It's probably a trophy made of, like, I don't know, something really sustainable. Papyrus.
Like, how sick would it be if you got like a gold trophy, like the cup, and then you poured beer in it and drank out of it? Okay, so like the Stanley Cup, the trophy they get for hockey.
Yeah, the big one.
The big one, that big guy. I would absolutely drink out of that. Are you kidding me?
That would be. I would do it, but just to say I did it. I feel like it's impractical. Imagine your Thanksgiving table. Everyone's got a normal glass, and you have the Stanley Cup.
That sounds perfect to me. I don't get it.
Can you pass the yams and you're like trying to drink out of your cup? I'm sorry. I just needed a sip.
I can't see my mother at the end of the table because the giant trophy's in the way. She's like, "Gabe, what's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm drinking out of this thing."
Somebody knocks it over. It floods the house.
Oh, we have fun here.
My favorite. The other thing about this brewery, before we move on to our second beer, which I am excited to do, but in addition to their sustainability, they also have a lot of a big advocacy initiative specifically related to taking back the trails. They're big on nature, and they're big on the great outdoors, and so they have done a lot of work, especially in their Chico location, to kind of uphold the trails and rivers. If you go visit their brewery, you can take like a nature hike.
National Trails Day. Wow.
I guess that's June 1st. But they have,
these guys actually like care. This is great.
They really care.
Proudly independent.
Which is great because, brewing is an agricultural exercise, and it requires taking from the earth. And I love that. I mean, a lot of breweries do have the mindset of trying to give back to the earth. But Sierra Nevada, I mean, it's named in part, because this founder, Ken, would go our boy Ken with the hands would go hiking in the Sierra Nevada mountains when he was growing up as a kid. So nature is a big part of the identity of the brewery. And you can see that if you go visit their locations. You can go on, like I said, the nature hikes when you're taking a brewery tour or anything like that. But they do a lot of work to raise funds, give back, and help protect the planet in these trying times.
They had sales that went toward campfire relief efforts for the
that was in
wildfires that tore through California.
Yeah, that was in 2018. But what they did was they brewed a brew called the Resilience Butte County Proud IPA with over 1,400 craft brewers, and 100% of the proceeds of that sale went to help relief for the campfire that California experienced last year. So
that's so cool. See, they thought water was going to help. No, beer will help.
Gabe, my beer's almost gone.
My beer is almost gone as well. I think it's time for our next beer.
Number 2.
All right. Beer number 2 is the sweet and sensual Sierra Nevada Hop Bullet. We got a double IPA. Oh, this is a fun one. This is a nice not heavy beer, but this is a nice tough beer in the best way possible. Very, very good tasting, but also strong. It's got that fun stuff to it. This one's got the ABV of 8%. We got an 8% double IPA. That's normally the region you'll go in when you got the doubles. I got to be honest, this one's a little strong, but it's one of those fun ones,
Yeah.
It's a nice served in a can, nice solid double.
So you're drinking straight out of the can. I poured mine into a glass.
Yeah, I'm sticking with the can for now.
The SRM, the color, standard research method beer color chart, as we've mentioned before, is, I would put it at about an 8. It's a lighter beer color-wise. It's kind of this amber glow, a little on the hazy side, but it's a West Coast double IPA. And basically with this beer, they hopped the living shit out of it. Okay, that's the point. Like, they loaded it with Magnum hops and lupulin powder. If you don't know what lupulin powder is, it's basically concentrated hop dust, hop powder. They pack it into these pills, so you can actually it's kind of like a capsule, and they pack it in, so it's concentrated hop flavor that's even more intense, that's put into a capsule as opposed to using the original plant. But in addition to that,
you take one like with water and food, and it'll like relieve your headache.
I don't know what that's going to do for you except destroy your palate for the day. But
hey, I mean, I'll try anything once.
But in addition to that, this beer contains Cascade, Centennial, Chinook, Crystal, Magnum, and Idaho 7 hops. So they hopped the living shit out of it for
they threw a bunch in one, and that's awesome because it gives you that flavor, but it doesn't take anything away from it. It's got the pininess, the earthiness to it. I love that it still provides all that as it's in your mouth and as it's going down. It's got the light carbonation, so it's not too tough to drink, but it is strong. This one will knock you back a few pegs. You know what I'm saying?
We said the ABV is at 8%. Interestingly, the IBUs, the bitterness unit, is at 55, so it's actually less than the Celebration. I haven't even gotten to tasting it yet, but I'm about to. The head lasts a little longer than it did with the Celebration, and it's got a little bit more lacing. There's definitely some foam dripping down the glass still as we speak.
A little bit of foam is always fun.
On the nose, like when I smelled it, immediately I got pineapple, which is interesting because it's definitely piney, both in the name and the smell.
It's got that like,
but it's sweet,
that tropical
yes
sense to it.
Yeah, it's got like a real citrus note, a sweet citrus note, which is why I think I pulled out the pineapple.
It's got that floral grassiness to it, but in like the best way possible.
Yeah, so I get the earthiness, I get the grassiness, like you just said, for sure. I mean, the pine is there, but the thing is, some of the doubles that I like to drink, like Road to Ruin and Heady Topper and some of those other ones, they are so aggressively bitter that the bitterness just hits you in the face. This one is not quite that. I mean, it is a double. It is 8%, but it's very drinkable for a double IPA. It's got a sweetness to it. The maltness, the malty sort of body comes through. It is quite delightful. I think this is one of their seasonal options too. They don't release this all year round.
Trying to find this was actually a little tougher than I thought it was. Shout out to City Swiggers in New York City, one of our go-to beer shops.
City Swiggers is the shit.
I went in and they didn't have it in stock, so I had to go around the corner and find it. But
so we just shouted out. We just shouted out City Swiggers for not having what we wanted them to have.
No, we're going to shout out City Swiggers because we love them, but also because this beer is so hard to get, they didn't have it. So I'm digging myself a bigger hole right now, and I need you to help me get out of it.
When you find your good beer spot, you want to give them love, and I would love to give a shout out to City Swiggers. I don't live in New York at the moment, but I did, and when I was there, City Swiggers on 86th Street and First Avenue.
We like stumbled upon that place. We walked in and we were like we literally heard the angels sing.
It's one of those great places where you can buy weird beers from all over the world, but you can also have a beer. They have a great bar that's got different stuff on draft all the time, or you can pay a corkage fee and open a bottle. I have one here in LA. It's called Sunset Beer Company, another great place to go when you need something from wherever, and it's got a great ambiance. But when you find those good places, they become your go-to. You want to go back to them. It can be hard to find beers outside of your local distribution channel.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. But let's talk a little bit about what is on tap at Sierra Nevada, what you can experience if you go visit them at any of their locations, and some of the other brews that they have available, because despite the two that we featured today, Sierra Nevada is not strictly beholden to IPAs. There's plenty available there. So some of the ones that you can find year-round, you can find obviously the Pale Ale. They've got the Torpedo Extra IPA, which you can find pretty much all the time. They have the Hazy Little Thing IPA. That's one of the New Englandy ones. They have a Fantastic Haze, which is an Imperial Hazy IPA. They have an easy drinking lager, which I would put similar to like a Corona. That's called their Sierra Vesa. And then you move into their seasonals and some other crazy stuff. They also have, I want to give just a shout out of deep love to their Bigfoot barley wine. I fucking love barley wine.
Bigfoot.
I love barley wine.
Yeah, anything that's like weird and aged in some sort of barrel or a barley something like that's fun.
But barley wine is like barley wine is like, even if it's not, I just love barley wines. I can't wait to feature one on the show.
Yeah, we'll do one soon. Can we talk about this beer called Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving. We sure can.
Yo, that sounds like fun.
It is.
This would be at the Chico location.
Or they actually have it at, I think, both locations right now. It's a seasonal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a seasonal beer. But I believe it's an IPA. Sierra Nevada is not shy on brewing like a ton of IPAs.
I feel like with Sierra Nevada, like any beer you drink, the title tells you exactly what you're drinking. Like, there are a lot of beers out there where it's like, you know, Circus Clown, and you're like, okay, what kind of beer is it though? But like Hot Bullet, Celebration, Fresh Hop, like you got it.
You can visit Sierra Nevada at one of 3 locations. You can go to their Chico, California. That's their original brewery that they expanded, like, I don't know, it was like in the 2000s.
Yesterday.
No. It was like in like the 2000s or something like that. There are so many tour options. Like, a lot of breweries, you go and you pay and you take a tour. This brewery, you can choose from, like, they have like 10 different tours you can choose, depending on what you're interested in and what you want to see and what you want to learn about, including they have a 45-minute normal tour. They have the one that I mentioned with the nature. And then they have a 3.5-hour beer geek tour that takes you to literally every part of the brewing facility, which is the one Gabe and I would be doing if we had the choice.
Oh, 110%. But also, is now a good time to mention the food they make with the beer?
Yeah, they got a tap room at every one of their locations, and it just made me hungry just reading about it.
We're talking Hazy Little Thing IPA sliders, beerified sauerkraut, pale ale poached bratwurst. I mean, these people do not, and I mean do not, mess around. And the best part about all of this is they have the recipes online at SierraNevada.com. Go there, click on events, and they should pull up everything. They've got how to make it. They've got a video. They use the beer to infuse the flavors. They put sauerkraut in a barrel, and they so they'll like have the beer in it. They take the beer out, obviously, and then like what's left over that's stuck in the barrel, they use as their quoted kraut juice, and they use it to make sauerkraut, and apparently it's like
That's
one of
what
the
they
most
call it?
popular things.
Kraut juice?
Yeah, kraut juice.
Ew.
And they use it to they use it toward anytime they have like a big event, like a big,
I mean, I'm like, it's
they
probably
do,
delicious, but that's just the most off-putting thing I've ever heard in my whole life. Kraut juice?
I know, but they make it with beer, so it can't not be great. They have these big events with, everyone, like the Oktoberfest, like they, here in Chico, it's their 10th year. They're bringing Munich tents to stateside beer lovers. I mean, everyone dresses up in the classic, like, lederhosen, and, they all have the mugs, and it's like the classic, you get a bratwurst, you get the sauerkraut on it. I mean, it's just a freaking party. Like, Steven, what are we doing? We gotta go to Sierra Nevada.
Kraut juice?
Kraut juice?
Ew.
I'm gonna call you late at night.
It's not.
I'm gonna be like, yo, Steven, I gotta talk to you. And you're like, what, dude? What? Like, I'm sleeping. I'm just gonna go kraut juice, and I'm gonna hang up.
I'm gonna dream about kraut juice tonight. But it's not that far from here, Gabe. It's not that far from here. I'm just saying.
Right.
Okay, the Chico.
Next time I'm in town, we're going.
The Chico location has 21 beers on tap in the tap room. The Mills River, North Carolina location, which, by the way, opened in 2014. It's their second brewery. It's their brewery on the East Coast. That has 23 beers on tap. And the menu there is Southern-inspired, which is delightful.
Ooh.
So you can find things such as duck fat fries and the North Carolina catfish with a pale ale Creole sauce.
Ooh, mama. Ooh.
Gabe and I were in Atlanta recently.
Damn.
And
that food, I'm still recovering from that.
I don't understand.
It was so good.
The night we got there, we went out to like a very renowned Southern food restaurant in Atlanta, and
yeah,
that was really my first time experiencing that kind of food, and I just didn't understand. I left and I was like, how do you people get anything done? I don't understand how people get up in the morning and go to the office and fill out paperwork and then go home at the end of the day and do it again the next day. Nothing would happen. My bills wouldn't get paid if I lived there.
The waitress came over. She was like, "Do you guys want dessert?" And she said dessert, and I almost puked. Like, I couldn't. I was like, "What? No, we got to get out of here. I need a bath and a nap.
I just don't understand. Like, if you go to the doctor's office and you need something checked up and the doctor just ate that food, you're going to die. Because the doctor...
You're not going to get the medication you need.
Like, I'm trying to think of just, like, a normal job that people do. Like, how do things get, like, marketed in that city? How do lawyers lawyer in that city?
They're like, Your Honor, I just need, like, 5 minutes.
You call some doctor's office and the receptionist is like, what? I'm dying. What?
I ate way too much good food. And that's the thing, though, like, Southern food, like, if you've never been to the South, especially North Carolina, I've been to North Carolina. I loved it there. If you've ever been to North Carolina, like, I don't know why, maybe it's not North Carolina specifically, but I just remember getting hush puppies in North Carolina, and, like, just, they were like little balls of crack. They were so good and so delicious. We're getting off topic. Go to the South. And while you're there, go to Sierra Nevada, North Carolina. But they eat that shit for
breakfast. Like, you wake up in the morning and they're like, can I have, like, chicken with, like, biscuits and gravy? What? You just woke up. I need, like...
Yeah, that's how you jumpstart your day.
I need, like, a coffee and, like, a bite of an apple, and I'm, like, off to the races.
Well, you also don't eat anything.
I eat things, just, you know, I'm careful about... Look, if I put a bunch of biscuits and gravy in my stomach when I wake up in the morning... The rest of the day is shot. I need a nap immediately.
Steven has an apple, a Cliff Bar, it lasts him the entire day, and then he eats dinner. Like, don't even talk to me about
You know what?
Food.
Shout out to Cliff Bars. If you are listening and you know anyone who knows anyone who works for Cliff Bars, I just want you to know I eat a Cliff Bar every single day. And
I just got the macadamia ones again. They're so good.
I'm allergic to nuts, so I can eat about 2 flavors of Cliff Bars. But if you know anyone who knows anyone who works for this company and they could send us some free Cliff Bars, I'm giving a shout out.
Please, dear God.
I'm doing an ad that wasn't paid for right now. Cliff Bars, the fuel you need to run the rest of your day. Did that sound like an ad?
Cliff Bars, the fuel you need to fuck shit up.
Cliff Bars. Power your afternoon. I don't know. Is that...
Cliff Bars, take the pledge and climb the... I don't know. That didn't work. Never
Send us free Cliff Bars. We'll do this all day.
We should probably wrap it up, but before we do, we like to end on a fun topic, something that caught our eye. And Steven, if you don't mind,
take it.
I'm going to take this
one. Take it.
Voldemort Putin wants his gold. Russia banned from the Olympics. They're done. Out. Get them out of there. For 4 years from doping back when they were at the Olympic Games in Sochi. Looks like the World Anti-Doping Agency came to a vote to remove Russia's flag, name, and anthem from the Tokyo Games that are coming up in 2020.
Yikes.
Looks like, but the best part is, like, this dude... What the hell's his name? Grigory Rodchenkov.
Wow.
Rodchenkov, who ran the lab where all these doping drugs came from, said he made a 3-drug cocktail of banned substances that he mixed with liquor, probably vodka, and provided to Russian athletes. However, this was Russia's play in it, so many of the athletes that are Russian are not being affected, so they'll be in the Olympics, but like it's not gonna be like Joe Smith from Russia. It's gonna be like Joe Smith from...
Weren't they trying to do that Olympics with the last Olympics? And then
yeah, they were trying because you never saw the Russian flag, you saw the Olympic like logo, and it was like what country are they? Oh, Russia banned and disgraced. So, I don't know what Putin's doing over there, but homie, you better talk to your athletes, because they're not bringing in the gold if they can't represent you. It's not going to go down in the record book as a win for Russia.
So they're just going to be, I mean, are they going to, like, assign them to another country, or is it going to be like, Grigory Rodchenkov from nowhere?
Is that how you say that?
I don't know.
Rodchenkov?
No, probably not.
No, it's going to be like Grigory Rodchenkov from, what did they use... For the last one, it was like from the Republic of the Olympics. It was like something weird like that.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was something like out of the ordinary, and I remember hearing it and being like, for those of you who don't know, we are Olympic fanatics.
We are.
It all started when we were living together in New York a couple of years ago and the Olympics were on. And it started off, I don't know if I can speak for Steven, but I can definitely speak for myself when I say it started off as like, oh, the Olympics are on, like water polo, like, yeah, why not? We'll turn it on. And then like 3 minutes later, we were like, hell yeah!
The thing is,
let's go!
Guys, do you realize, like, when the Olympics are happening, there's the primetime stuff. Like, yeah, NBC is going to show you, like, the swimming and all that shit. But if you go online, you can watch the Olympics all day long. And I had this kind of time. And if you turn on the Olympics...
Because we had nothing better to do.
If you turn on the Olympics at, like, 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, you can watch people walking. I'm not making it up. That's an Olympic event. Walking. We are all Olympic athletes.
Yo,
walking.
They should, like...
They were walking. And the thing is, it's not even like an event no one attended. It's like there were people on the sidelines cheering them on. There was commentary. It was like, I don't even remember who the fastest walkers were. I wish I did. Like, it was like...
I like the event where it's like they're skiing and then out of nowhere they pull out a rifle and shoot targets and then they have to ski again. Like, I want to know who came up with that. What guy was like, all right...
Yeah.
So they're like power walking and they're on skis and it's really tough and then they reach a checkpoint. What do they have to do? Yes, Gregory, you had something? Yeah, we shoot a rifle. I'm sorry, what did you just say? Like what? Like who came up with that?
That's so true. They're just like skiing and then for no reason they just turned into like
like Mark Wahlberg from Shooter.
Open
like,
fire.
What are you doing?
And then they keep skiing.
Like shoot these targets.
Like nothing happened.
What? Yeah, exactly.
We love the Olympics. Listen, generally, I wouldn't say I'm a sports guy. I'm a football guy. But when it comes to the Olympics, I'll watch anything. I'll watch the curling. I'll watch the swimming. I'll watch any kind of skiing. I'll watch the sailing, the surfing.
We taking curling. Curling's ours. But it's going to be televised soon, and we're going to watch the hell out of it.
Well, on that note,
should
we get the fuck out of here?
I think we should. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you for joining us.
Episode 2, Round 2, Sierra Nevada, Celebration Fresh Hop IPA, and the Hop Bullet Double IPA. Find these beers, drink these beers, support this brewery. They do a lot of good, and they make a lot of good beer, and, I mean, what's better than that?
I completely agree. Check this brewery out. Shout out to them and any beer they're brewing. Go ahead and drink it. It is going to be a good time for you. And we want to thank you, as always, for joining us. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We are at the HO Podcast. Check us out on Facebook. Send us any beer recommendations you have. We want to hear from you, so hit us up with all of that stuff. All right, guys, thank you so much. We'll be back in your feeds next Thursday afternoon. Until then, keep drinking great beer and have a great week. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.